Hey guys, Midweek Lived, 1 Peter 4 this week. Ricky Sykes wrote an excellent devotional about the results of suffering. And that's what Peter's talking about here. He says, therefore, since Christ suffered in the flesh, arm yourself with the same purpose. Okay, that's a tough statement to say. Okay, Jesus suffered, we should suffer like him. Because he who suffered in the flesh has also ceased from sin, so as to live the rest of the time in the flesh no longer for the lusts of men, but for the will of God. And he goes on to say, the time is past for sin. It's over. It's gone. Suffering helps you not to sin. It sounds a little weird, but if you think about it, why would people fast? Fast is purposeful suffering, right? Because it drives you to think about God. The suffering causes you to focus on God. It kind of lets you lift your eyes beyond the meal in front of you and see the greater purposes. That's why Jesus said, man doesn't live on bread alone. Man does live on bread, but not bread alone. If we can get our eyes above it and see the purpose of God working in us, of God providing that nourishment, it makes you grateful for the nourishment God gives you when you fast. In the same way, suffering has the ability to help us to overcome sin. You know, maybe you have a problem with the type of media you consume. That's a pretty common problem, right? Whether it's violent, whether it's sexual, whether it's coarse and dirty, maybe the language, the themes, whatever it is. Maybe you have a problem with that. It's pretty common in our world today. There's just a media overload, right? And now they're just throwing it at you for free. All these new apps and different things wanting you to stream. And maybe you have trouble discerning that. Well, maybe it's kind of weird to call this suffering, but maybe just fasting from all that for a while. Now, it'll feel like suffering. You're going to want to sit down. If your routine is to come home at night and turn on the TV and watch something, it may feel like suffering. What am I going to do? I'm going to be bored. But eventually, it's going to let you see beyond that. And you're going to say, man, am I just entertaining myself to death? And then, boy, as you reconnect with the Spirit, you might start to see, boy, some of these things in this media, they're disgusting to God, and they should be disgusting to me. Maybe that's one area. Maybe you struggle with gossip. Maybe that's something that is really a difficult sin for you. And maybe you need to look at the person who gossips with you and say, I can't talk this way anymore. And they may gossip about you. They may hate you. You may suffer for it, right? Because they might think you're a goody two-shoes. But that suffering is going to create pain, and that pain is going to force you to go to God and say, God, I need you to get me through this. This hurts, right? And that's going to help lift your eyes beyond your current circumstance and see the greater purpose of what God is doing as you become a person who doesn't gossip anymore. So whatever the issue is, suffering has the ability to help us not to sin anymore. And isn't that what we're trying to do? Not so we can earn some favor with God, but because God promises that it's a better way to live. Think about that this week.